welcome to the Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. I'm now joined by League General Manager Matt Jones.
Hello and welcome to the official podcast of the Macron Northern Counties East Football League. And I think we're finally up now to the fantastic figure of episode number 62, still going strong. The Isuzu FA Vars kicked off last weekend with 15 of our sides securing their spots in next month's second round qualifying draw. I'm particularly pleased, a little bit of friendly rival that we have as a league with the North West Counties, our neighbours from Manchester, Liverpool area. And in the last few years, they've had the upper hand against some of our teams. But this weekend, out of 11 matches between sides from one side from each division, 8 of our teams went through. So really pleased with that. Anyway, back on track. And on Friday, Pickering Town were first to advance thanks to second half goals from Marshall Knock and Nathan Dyer in a 2-0 win over Horden Community Welfare. South Leeds also played on Friday and they nearly joined them, staging a comeback from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Barnton. However, they fell short in the penalty shootout, losing 4-2. On Saturday, there were 3 All-Northern Counties East League clashes, which saw Horbury Town, Goole and Nostell Miners Welfare progress. Horbury triumphed 4-1 at Clubthorne Colliery. Goole drew 1-1 at Golker United before winning 4-2 on penalties. And Nostell stunned Premier Division host Handsworth 5-2, with races from Cyrus Rowe and Matthew Hughes, plus a goal from Miguel Casimir, Mitchell Dunn and Scott Rutherman replied for the hosts. The game I was at, Brigg Town came from behind to beat Pilkington 3-2, with Dale Hudson and Alfie Usher turning the tide late on. Crowell Colts, Eccleshill United, Liversidge and Maltby Main also claimed home wins. Crowell, playing their first ever game in the Vars, beat Main Road 2-0. Eccleshill edged Gisborough Town 1-0. Liversidge also won 1-0 over Camel Laird, with George Green with the decisive goal. And Maltby Main saw off Stockport Georgians 2-1, Curtis Morrison netting both goals. Tadcaster Albion snatched a dramatic 2-1 win at Squires Gate, with Alfie Dean scoring in stoppage time. And 4 other NCEL sides advanced via penalty shootouts after their ties finished level. Doncaster City, who went through against Abbey Hay. Penistone Church, after a 1-1 draw at FC St Helens. Knaresborough Town, who saw off Marsk United. And Rossington Main, who went through at the expense of Litherland Remica. Elsewhere, there were some disappointing results. Worsborough Bridge Athletic and Frickley Athletic suffered defeats. Worsborough were beaten 2-1 at Euxton Villa, while Frickley suffered a 5-1 reverse at home to Maghall. Leeds UFCA lost 1-0 at Grangetown Boys Club. Ilkley Town's Kevin Gonzalez scored, but the home side lost 6-1 to Newcastle Benfield. Winterton Rangers fell 2-0 at Northwich Victoria. Beverley Town bowed out 4-3 at Retford United. And both Appleby Frodingham and Selby Town suffered 3-0 defeats at Retford FC and Stockport Town respectively. On Sunday, Campion capped off the weekend with a 3-1 home win over Penrith, courtesy of first half goals from Patrick Sykes and Ewan Gregson, and a late strike from Aidan Day. Because of the FA Vars ties, there was a reduced league programme at the weekend. In the Premier Division, Barton Town climbed to second with a win over Thackley. Wombwell Town earned their first points of the season, beating Parkgate 2-1. Albion Sport somewhat surprisingly dropped to the bottom of the table after a 2-2 draw with Sheffield. In Division 1, Durnan District went top with a 5th win in 6 games, Adam Baskerville netting twice, including a last-gasp winner in a 2-1 victory over Route 1 Rovers. Harrogate Railway Athletic continued their strong start, winning 1-0 at Louth Town, thanks to Harris Eggleston's 88th minute goal. Amthorpe Welfare lost top spot after a 2-0 home defeat to Wakefield, with Akil Francis scoring both goals. And Glasshout Welfare moved off the bottom with a 2-1 win at Athersley Recreation. On to the coming weekend, and there are still 4 of our teams competing in the FA Cup, although all 4 have difficult-looking ties. Pickering Town will be at home to Redcar Athletic on Friday evening, and on Saturday, Bottisford Town travel to Matlock Town. Rossington Main welcome FC United of Manchester, and Wombwell Town play host to Stocksbridge Park Steels. We wish all 4 of our remaining teams good luck. There are 8 Premier Division matches taking place, with 2 on Friday night, Campion versus Eccleshill and Sheffield versus Handsworth, with a further 6 games on Saturday. And there's one Division 1 match on Friday evening at Clubthorne Colliery, who play Crowell Colts, with all the other 20 teams playing on Saturday. Whichever team you're going to watch, please have an enjoyable time.
This season we've got the two leagues on football web pages. Can you talk us through that?
So team sheets in the Northern Counties East League have been done electronically for the past 2 seasons. We finally phased out paperwork. This season, we've switched on to a new system for us called Football Web Pages. As well as team sheets, this gives us the added functionality of a live scores feature, which can be accessed through the Northern Counties East League website or directly through Football Web Pages themselves, either via their website or on the app. This produces live updates throughout the game as the goals go in, and also a live, constantly updating league table. This has already proved to be extremely popular. For example, last Friday we had 2 Division 1 games taking place at Wakefield and Worsborough Bridge. During those games, there were an average of 484 people logged in checking the scores. We can also see where people that are using the system are viewing the scores from. And surprisingly, the most popular area last weekend was London, with only 2 of the top 10 most popular areas actually being within our region. And we think this live score system is certainly helping to spread the word of the league far and wide. We hope that the figures will continue to grow during the season. If you've not already tried it, please have a look during the games. Any feedback is welcome.
Welcome to NCEL Talk. We're short on numbers this week. There's just myself and Si, and also we briefly got Jordan. So we're going to start with Corbury because we've only got Jordan for a short period of time. So how was the FA Vars, Jordan?
Yeah, very good. First win in 3 attempts, I believe. So we played Club Thorn, who have had a very decent start to Division 1. I was looking at the league table earlier, and I think they've got 13 points after 5 games, undefeated in the league. And if they win the games in hand, they can go top. So we knew we were being for a tough test. But to be fair, although we've only got 3 points in the league in 5 games, we've actually been playing really well in the majority of them. And we're unlucky to have only picked up 3 points. So we knew we were coming into the game in decent form, albeit not picking up the points that we should have done. And yeah, started really well. Got an early-ish goal through George Whittaker, and then we grabbed a second before half time. And then Joe Jagger, at the beginning of the second half, does what he does best, scores worldies to put us 3-0 up. Club Thorn got back into the game with a goal, but then we scored like 2 or 3 minutes after. So a very comfortable afternoon and a very enjoyable one. So yeah, we're into the next round and facing Bob's Goal. So that should be a good trip in September.
Yeah, Wilkes had a good win goal, didn't they? But knocking Golker out.
Yeah, Golker have not been playing very well by all accounts. I think they're joint bottom at the moment. So yeah, good win for Goal. Looking forward to going there, especially on the new surface.
Yeah. And I'll jump about out of sequence and we'll go to your midweek game, I think. And you took on Penniston, who were sort of like early pace setters, aren't they? Were you impressed with them?
I wasn't there Tuesday, but I've seen 15 minutes worth of highlights. And we shot ourselves in the foot, really, going 3 goals down after just short of 20 minutes. But gave ourselves a fighting chance just before half time to put it back to 3-2. A few good chances early doors as well in the second half to bring it back level, and from missing our third chance they've gone up the other end and scored a fourth and killed all momentum for us. So a disappointing evening. But just looking at the games that we've played in the 5 games that we've played in the league, all of those teams sit in the top half of the table already. So we've been facing some tough opponents. I think every game this year will be pretty tough. I think the difference that we've noticed early doors is any slight chance you give the opponent, it's punished. Whereas you might have got 1 or 2 let-offs in Division 1, especially against some of the teams in the division. But every game is a big test, and we have to learn very quickly to cut those mistakes out if we want to be successful this season.
You certainly got people who can score goals, can't you? I mean, to me, Joe Jagger looked back to his best when Barton played you.
Yeah, as I say, going back to my previous point about not picking up as many points as we probably could have done, I think you alluded to it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that if anyone were going to get the winner when you came to our place a couple of weeks ago, it was going to be us. And we've just got to take those chances when they come because we know they're going to be few and far between, and they are the difference at this level. So yeah, we need to be a bit more clinical in front of goal.
Who have you got at the weekend?
We have got Liversidge away, so it doesn't get any easier.
Doesn't get much tougher than that.
Yeah, it's probably the toughest game on paper. I know a lot of people are predicting them to go straight back up with Sheffield because they've kept a lot of players that they had last year and recruited very well. So yeah, we're going to be in for another tough test, but we can go into that fixture with no pressure. Really, we've not really expected to win every game as we were last year. So we can kind of go into games with a little bit of a free hit, albeit we do need to pick up points here and there to stay out of trouble. So we'll just go there in full confidence that we can try and pick up a point at least, if not all three.
Very good. Right, I'll return to chronological order. So if we sort of quickly nip back to Friday night in the FA Vars, it was a good win for Pickering over Northern League opposition, and then side in the league. Good start for your new manager at Wakefield.
Yeah, I wasn't at that one, but I've seen plenty of highlights, and we've just done the recording for our own podcast where we've kind of talked through the game, and it explained a lot of things that we were getting wrong in the first part of the season. Had an instant change, slightly changed the formation, increased the intensity, and yeah, I kind of thought going into playing Armthorpe, who were top of the table, unbeaten at that point, we could potentially struggle, especially for a first match. But 2 goals for Akil Francis, one of them a penalty, and he even missed another penalty, which could have given him a hat-trick, unfortunately. But a very good performance in that one, yeah. Very happy.
What's the manager's background? Where's he come from, the new manager?
Jason Blunt previously played at Leeds United to start his career, and played quite a lot, I think, with Scarborough. He was at Doncaster Rovers. Then he coached there, I think it was under 23s or under 21s at Leeds for a while, I think it was. And he was like a youth coach at Leeds, and recently has worked with Doncaster City and Durham, helping bring both those up from step 7 to step 6.
So have you got any new players through the door since he's arrived?
Yeah, there have been a couple of changes. I think that naturally happens when you've got a new manager, because some players maybe would have moved on because they weren't, they liked with the previous manager or whatever. They might come in for them, and then a new manager generally has players that they prefer. So last week we brought Tanique Fishley for his second stint with the club, he'd been there before, and a very good defender from what I've seen so far from Brighouse, Bolton McWedza. He looks really good.
Continue with the Saturday's FA Vars as Doncaster City beat Abbey Hay. That's a particularly good win, I think. Brigtown beat Pilkington. One that caught my eye was Kroll Colts beating Main Road from the northwest. They've sort of picked some good results at Kroll Colts, haven't they, recently?
Yeah, definitely.
And,
big win, that one, because that was going to be a tough test, wasn't it?
It certainly was, yeah. Eccles Hill beating Gisborough Town. Always difficult against these Northern League sides. Penistone drew at St Helens, then beat them on penalties. Gill's defeat of Golka is probably pleased about that one. One that's really surprised me, Handsworth 2, Nostell 5. What are your thoughts on that one?
It is a surprise. You never know what sort of lineups maybe they've put out. I'm not saying Hamsworth have put a weakened lineup. I'm not taking anything away from Nostell, but if you look at the league positions, that is not the result you would probably have predicted, given that Nostell are kind of bottom of the first division at the moment. Handsworth have had a decent start to their season in the Prem, so it's a definite giant killing, that one, isn't it? Especially with that result, that
Yeah, it
scoreline.
certainly is. Yeah, yeah. Rosington beat Leatherland on penalties. That's a good win for them. It's a big week coming up, isn't it, for Rosington? Liversedge beat Camel Laird. That's an excellent result. They're a good side, Camel Laird. Mortby Main beating Stockport Georgians, again a good side. Knaresborough won at Mask. Surprised to see Beverley losing at Retford. Tadcaster then won at Squires Gate. And looking into the Premier Division on the Saturday, Sheffield and Albion Sports 2-2 looked like a good game, that one. They look as if they're going well, Sheffield. Barton beat Thackley. Barton had the better of the first half. Thackley hit back in the second half. Barton defended really well to hang on to the lead, including the Charlie Dixon Brown penalty save. Both Barton's goals came from excellent closing down. The work rate outstanding, so that's a really good 3 points for them. And Wombwell beat Parkgate.
Good result for Wombwell, that, because it's their first points of the season in the league as well. I think they needed that win, and I think they'll build on that with confidence as well.
Yeah, and looking into Division 1, a win for Dern again against Route 1 Rovers, but it's the goal scorer for Route 1 Rovers I'm looking at, Zach Khan. He's just scoring a bucket load, isn't he?
16 goals. I was looking at 16 goals this season.
Yeah,
Incredible.
is it fourth hat trick? He's scored already. He scored 3 last night.
Incredible.
Ridiculous.
Have you seen him play? I've never seen him play. Have you anyone seen him play?
No, not yet.
No, I know he scored a lot of goals when they were playing in the Northwest, and then he went to Campion for a brief period, and then he's obviously gone back to Route 1 Rovers and just bagging for fun.
Not sure. I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
And then over the weekend, the Vars finished with again Campion beating Penrith. Again, good Northern League side. I did do a quick bit of adding up, and the NCEL beat the North West Counties 7-4, and they beat the Northern League 4-2. That's a heck of a performance against two strong leagues.
Quite a lot of matches on penalties as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like five or six matches went to penalties, and another two were actually won with 90th minute winners.
Do we think the NCEL is a stronger league this year?
So it looks that way from the result, doesn't it?
It does. Moving into midweek on the Tuesday night, Beverley beat Campion 2-1, 2 goals for Glen Sarney. Tadcaster going well, 3-0 at Frickley, and then Sheffield 4-0 at Goka. We covered Penison winning at Hornbury, and Bottisford doing well to hold Knaresborough. Big Lincolnshire derby in Division 1, Crowell Colts coming out on top against Brig, 2 goals for Henry Cook. And Gould surprisingly beaten by Club Thorn. Win for Harrogate at Ilkley. The University beat South Leeds, which I was quite surprised to see. Selby beat Amthorpe, and Wakefield 3, Nostell 0. How would that one go, Si?
Good game, actually. I mean, the first half was a bit scrappy. It wasn't the greatest of performances, but another especially good second half. Looking a lot stronger now. Nostell, that's another defeat for them. They're kind of struggling at the bottom, I'm sure you're going to come to the tables, but it's no secret that they're currently bottom. But I hope they do get out of that, because we like to keep the local teams in the league. We've already lost the Horbury derby with Jordan team going up. So the nearest derby we've got at the moment is Nostell.
Surprised to see Club Thorn winning at Goal.
Well, there has been a few, especially the teams that have started well, drop points over the week. Gould, Dern as well. That match with Maltby, wasn't it? That pipped them. South Leeds, yes. Like you say, losing to Leeds University, perhaps another surprise there.
Yeah, I noticed the score for Leeds was Sanyang, which is a well-known non-league level. I don't know, how does it, do you know how it works for these university sides? Do they have to actually be at the university?
I don't know what the structure and the setup is. No, it's not something I've come across yet.
Moving on to Wednesday, Pickering Town 4-1 at Handsworth, and Parkgate winning at Thackley. Pickering certainly going well at the moment. Looking into the first division, Doncaster City beating Winterton, and that big win for Maltby Main, 2-1 over Durnan District. Route 1 5-3 against Glasshoughton, and as Jordan said, hat-trick for Zach Khan in that one. And Worsborough 2-1 over Allersley. If we have a quick look at the league tables, if we go at Division 1 first, Harrogate 17 from 7 at the top, Durn second, 15 from 7, Club Thorn a third, 13 from 5, Armthorpe 12 from 6, Worsborough 12 from 6, Maltby 11 from 6, Selby 10 from 6, and Wakefield 10 from 7. How's it looking from your point of view, Si? Are you any teams that are really surprising you, or is it sort of pretty much how you thought it might be?
No, I don't think it's anywhere how we thought it would be. I mean, you look at the teams like no, I know. I think Adam said thought we were going to be up there, but I didn't think they were going to be one of the challengers. And looking further down, there's teams further down that you kind of would have expected to be challenging. The ones that we predicted, like Goole and Doncaster City, have had a slow start to the season. I don't think it's settled down yet. I think we said early on in the season in this podcast, how many games do you give it before you kind of realise who's going to be sitting at the top and pushing for the title and the playoffs, and who's going to be at the bottom? I think it's still shifting at the moment.
I think you need 10 games, don't you, to sort of get a good feel for how it might be.
And then see who's got the form then, yeah.
And just looking at the bottom of the first division, Nostell 1 from 6, Winterton 3 from 6, and Glasshoughton 4 from 7. In the Premier, Tadcaster 15 from 6 at the top, Penistone 14 from 6, Barton 11 from 5, Liversedge 10 from 5, Parkgate 9 from 6, and Pickering 8 from 4, Knaresborough 8 from 4. But just below that, Sheffield have got 5 from just 3. But again, like we say, it's early days. And then looking at the bottom of the Premier, Golka 1 from 5, Albion 1 from 4, which is a surprise, but again, early days. 3 from 4, Wombwell, 3 from 5, Horbury. So if we look towards the weekend,
We've got some Friday night fixtures.
it's Friday nights, haven't we?
FA Cup first round qualifying.
Yeah, Pickering against Redcar. That'll be a tough game for Pickering. Redcar beat Ferriby earlier, but it'll be a good game. I mean, they're all good games out of the FA Cup ties. Campion, then in the league, Campion, Eccles Hill, Sheffield, Handsworth, Sheffield Derby. Division 1, Thorn against the informed Pro Colts.
Thorn are in form themselves there as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it should be a good game, that one.
Yeah.
But the FA Cup ties on Saturday look absolute crackers. Bottisford going to Matlock. I think Matlock must be one of the most picturesque grounds in the country. Great place to go to. And Rosington against FC United. What a dream tie that is. And Wombwell against Stocksbridge. What are your thoughts on those three, Si?
I think they're all really good for different reasons. Especially like you say, the Rosington one, playing in the FA Cup against a a non-league side of the size of FC United, who not long back were in the Vanarama North, if I remember.
That's right.
And then
Yeah.
Oneworld Stocksbridge Park Steels, as I said, I think on last week's episode when we were talking about their this tie coming up, Oneworld will have played the Stocksbridge Park Steels reserves in the Sheffield and Hallamshire on their way through that league to get to where they are now. So on the rise they played the reserves, and here they are with a fairly local derby against the proper first team.
Yeah, and a team that blooded Jamie Vardy, didn't they, in the past?
Indeed, they did.
I mean, it'd be absolutely terrific result if any of them can get through. Let's hope somebody can.
They're all big, tough tests, those ones, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Matlock, that's another good one. One of our wingers from last season, Kiani Morris, has gone to Matlock. He's there now. So I've been keeping an eye on their results. And they look a good team.
And then moving on to Saturday in the Premier, Barton against Golka. Barton in form, Golka not in such good form, so that's nailed on 3 points for Golka, probably.
That's football.
Yes. Liversedge against Horbury. Well, that's a tough test for Horbury. They'll do well to get something from that. Parkgate against Beverley. Well, Beverley's a disappointing start, but they won during the week, so maybe they're starting to move forward now. Penistone against Frickley. Penistone usually start well. They've started well this season. That'll be a tough game, that, for Frickley. I think this will be a good one. Tadcaster and Knaresborough, both teams doing really well. And then Thackley against Albion. Albion have started disappointingly, but they do look a good side.
Thackley started well, but have dropped a few points lately as well, haven't they? They started off strong, but had a rough couple of weeks.
It's certainly a much changed Thackley side from last season. I mean, I'm feeling at times they look pretty decent. They've got Paul Walker, who was at Emily at one time. He looks a good player, a lad in midfield alongside in Washington. They'll get some results, I'm sure. I'll be surprised if Albion don't start motoring up the table. What are your thoughts on the First Division fixtures, Si?
We've got Athersley away, which is always I like going there. It's a nice ground, is that? They're sort of mid-table at the moment. Looking around for other good ties, Durham District are playing Ilkley. From what I saw, obviously, both of them being in the playoffs last season, that could be a tough one there. Harrogate Railway, who are top of the table at the moment, are taking on Route 1 Rovers. So it's the league leaders, Harrogate, taking on the top scorer, Zach Khan.
Yeah,
the guy who's going to get mentioned
him
every week at this rate, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
And then there's
an early contender for player of the season.
I know already. We're still in August.
Yes.
And there's a sort of derby because Nostell Miners Welfare are playing Leeds United at Leeds University, who play their home games at Nostell. So it's almost like the AC Milan derby against Inter Milan, isn't it? But with Nostell and Leeds. And on another one, looking down here as well, Winston are playing Goole. So that's both teams that came down from the Prem. And Winston have had, as you mentioned with the table, a slow start to the season, having come down on 2 previous relegations. So they really need to start putting some points on the table soon against a much fancied Goole side. Midweek ones next week. There is an interesting one, certainly in the Division 1 that I've noticed on Tuesday night. Durham District are playing Doncaster City. Both those teams are ones that people picked for promotion prior to the season kicking off. Jordan's Horbury are playing at home to Parkgate. You've got Tadcaster at home on Tuesday. That's a tough one, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah, that would be a good test.
Frickley at home to Liversedge there, so that's the tests keep coming for Frickley.
Yeah,
another tough one there for them.
And Knaresborough against Penistone, that was a good game. Both of them have started well.
I think there are going to be some cracking games for us to review next week there.
Yeah, Eccleshill Pickering midweek, Shackley Bottisford.
And we have a trip to Winterton, which I can't go to next week, unfortunately, because my wife's on nights. So I've got little boys who can't get to that one. So hoping we pick up some points on the road at that one. Is it near Scunthorpe, Winterton?
It is. That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.